A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to HJN Season 3. And now, here we go with another issue of Bandtastic. Today's pick for number 2136 is going to be a bit more on the Asian side of things. We have ourselves a Japanese-American rock band led by Jun Sinyu and Johnny Ghibli, simply titled Crush 40. Yes. You might recognize these guys for their works with Sonic the Hedgehog. That's pretty much the one thing that they had gotten a lot of popularity from over the years. And these two were able to really give us some of the best tunes we could have possibly heard while we were blitzing at high speeds with our favorite million-mile-per-hour mammal himself. And while Sonic the Hedgehog in more recent years has not necessarily had Crush 40 included, at least since 2018, it still is pretty worthy to tell anybody out there who's willing to hear anything about it that it sure has been quite a ride by any means. And Crush 40, of course, like almost every other band I've talked about so far, has its place here on this iPhone, including their greatest hits album in 2010. This is basically where I truly got into the franchise as it is, with a good selection of songs. I mean, seriously, if I could name a good few of them here: Into the Wind, Firewoman, Watch Me Fly, Never Turn Back, Live Life, What I'm Made Of, Revvin' Up, and of course, the title soundtrack to Sonic Heroes, which was technically when I first got to hear this band in motion. This was their first ever song that I got to hear about. When it came out in 2004 for the PS2, I really got into it so well. The game itself was just full of nostalgia and it kept pumping through me, unlike lots of other games I played on the PlayStation 2. Although there were tons of other great examples of games on the PS2, like the Jak and Daxter series, the Hulk games, Dragon Ball Z Budokai, and even the ATV and MX games, which have since merged together into MX vs. ATV. So, I feel like that Crush 40 truly is worth talking about today. But it probably is for the fact that even after they stopped doing stuff with Sonic the Hedgehog, they still did have themselves quite a success riding on with them. They made their own live album in 2012, at around the same time that we had also gotten our hands on some newer Sonic the Hedgehog related stuff. After all, we know that Sonic the Hedgehog has made appearances in Wreck-It Ralph, voiced by the one and only Roger Craig Smith. His voice is not necessarily favored compared to people like Jason Griffith or Ryan Drummond, but he still was a Sonic the Hedgehog that I've grown up with since 2010, when Sonic Colors came out. And I've even been able to check it out in recent years thanks to Sonic Colors Ultimate Edition, which came out 11 years later. And which is also, believe it or not, the same time that Roger Craig Smith had actually declared retirement from voicing Sonic. That is until he decided to come back one last time for Sonic Frontiers, alongside the rest of the cast normally associated with those Sonic games, like Cindy Robinson and Colleen O'Shaughnessy, and even Travis Wilmingham. We certainly can't forget about Mike Pollock, though, as Eggman, the main antagonist of the franchise. But other than all that good stuff, other than all the Sonic connections I could possibly make here, Crush 40 simply is a perfect accompaniment to your high-flying, high-speed Sonic gameplay. And knowing that the franchise has actually gotten way bigger and better in recent years with a Sonic Origins collection, which is essentially an HD remastering of the original games on Sega consoles. Not to mention, there actually is going to be a brand new game called Sonic Superstars, which will be released in a few months from now. So I'm kind of excited to see where that's going to take me, but otherwise, there just isn't that much else I could possibly say here. That's pretty much it. over, done, finito. So this is pretty much just it. So Crush 40 is awesome. Period. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next installment of Bandtastic.